got the video up and running? Really good. Okay, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. We appreciate everyone visiting. We see some familiar faces here tonight. For the council, we'll go ahead and excuse Councilman Baird. Maybe I'll shoot him a text and find out where he's at. We've asked Councilman Allen to get us started with prayer, and then we'll recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our dear kind Heavenly Father, we're grateful for this opportunity that we have to meet tonight. We're thankful for the great town in which we live in, and we're thankful for this chance to meet and discuss the needs and concerns of this city and be able to make decisions that affect those who live here. And we ask that we can do so with an open mind and be able to listen to the concerns of our citizens. We're grateful for the freedoms that we have, and we're so very thankful for those who sacrifice so much to give us those freedoms. And we say these things humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First item up is the the minutes from the last meeting. Any amendments or corrections to those?
Mayor, I don't have any amendments to the previous, but for the meeting tonight, we need to make sure and change board to board. It says the Board of Canvassers instead of Board of Canvassers. So I'm not sure what the Board of Canvassers is. Maybe someone's hunting wild boar or something, I don't know, but anyway. But I would move to approve unless someone found something in the minutes that needs to be amended.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman White. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. We have our public comment period at this time. Anyone in the public can address the council for up to 3 minutes. Are there any here tonight that would like to do so? If not, then we have two newly elected officials here tonight. So we have Mayor-elect Tommy Olson and Councilman-elect Rowdy Flower. So you guys want to take any time? You're welcome to. All right. I didn't even have to text.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. Didn't even have to text Mr. Baird. He showed up, so yours must have been burned.
Sorry, I'm late.
All right, well, seeing none as far as the comment period, we'll go ahead and move forward with our agenda. First agenda item is Cougar Land Services proposal. Drew, if you want, and
I think I'm doing that one.
yeah, that's right. You told me that. So,
Last time we were here in council meeting, Cougar Land had submitted some documents for us to review, and you were wanting a recommendation from staff. Staff met on, I forget what day, 2 weeks ago maybe. Talked about the concerns of all the different departments, and there's a few I'd like to outline for you here. The biggest one is that on the paved roads in the city, we've had designated truck routes for an extended period of time, longer than I've been here, which goes back to 2012, because many of the city streets are not designed for heavy trucks. So we're worried about the trucks going onto those roads that are not designated as truck routes. There are some special concerns about transite lines still being in use underneath some of the city streets. I don't see Kirby here today, but for his department in particular, there's concerns that not just the traffic, but the vibration could damage those transite lines. For the golf course and the parks more generally, The city's made a significant investment in the parks. What is being offered by Cougar Land didn't feel like justified any risk to the parks and the golf course. We looked at the bond, felt like the proposed amount in the bond was insufficient, and also that the duration of the proposed bond was shorter than staff is comfortable with.
Can you help us remember what the amount was for the bond?
There had been two different numbers in documents that were forwarded to me. I think 200,000 was on the document itself, but I believe 250,000 had also been discussed.
And what was the time frame?
Time frame was very short, and I'd have to pull it up again, but I think it's like 30 days, if I remember right.
It was, at least what we proposed at the council meeting was 2 years.
2 years.
Okay.
What we forwarded you was a document from Odessa, Texas, and that was a shorter duration. It was 180 days or a year. I can't remember which.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even 5 years was talked about in the meeting, felt like even a 5-year bond would not be sufficient. There's also some discussion that the staff is focused on the best interest of the community at large, felt like that the potential benefits here are for a very narrow section, and that it would not be blocking local oil companies from accessing the oil underneath the city if it was not allowed. There was also a short discussion about what the county had done, and the information that we had is that the county was not allowing it on the county's paved roads either. It didn't have a lot of information on that. So at the end of the meeting, staff's decision was to unanimously recommend to the council that the proposal not be approved.
Any questions for Grant from the council?
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Grant. Any clarification from Cougar Land Services? I see a few of you here tonight. Is there anything that you would like to add or clarify, or?
I guess one.
If you would,
Yes.
come and state your name.
Yeah, my name is Doug Moore.
Thank you, sir.
I guess we had proposed or sent two different documents. One was for use of city fee lands, and one was for the roads. And one thing that was brought up is the size of the trucks. We can definitely, there's other smaller trucks that we can use. There's other devices we can use, and we're more than open to changing that. And we're more than open to increasing the bond amount for the duration. And I think one thing that we maybe not presented in the past well is why behind the seismic permit requests. The main reason for this is to allow operators in the basin to plan horizontal wells. Operators are now drilling longer laterals and have been attempted in the past. With respect to the seismic survey, larger areas that have no sources or receivers, the more detrimental to the data underneath, and thus the harder for the operators to stay in zone and successfully drill the long laterals. So.
Do you know why the county is not doing it?
Can I?
Yes, please. Yeah, the more information we have, the better.
So, I'm North Sam, Cougar Land. First, Uinta County, we're working on the paved roads, and so we have pretty much everything that we need from Uinta County. In Duchesne County, we did ask for the paved roads. They agreed to the unpaved roads. We're using the paved roads for our sensors in the right of way. But after we looked at it, the way the county is laid out, it's rural in a lot of areas. We don't necessarily need them, so we didn't pursue that as much as we could have. By increasing the bond, increasing compensation, or whatever it might take to get it done. We didn't need that. But here, on the golf course, for example, I mean, we're offering roughly $17,000 and we're gonna walk out
To the city.
to the city for the fee lands, which is a golf course and the other property that the city owns. Basically, on the golf course, we're just gonna walk out there and place some sensors. I mean, they're not gonna drive on the property, they're gonna be out of the greens, they're gonna be in the rough, they're not gonna be anywhere around. Increasing the bond term, I don't think DGS is gonna have a problem with that, because we're comfortable that we're not going to have any impact. So, Doug is a boss, and I try not to get fired tonight, so. We probably need to address that with
Yeah.
our superiors, you know, and maybe, come back with a counter, if that's okay, to address some of the concerns. And one of the things that's a little bit frustrating is, you know, we've been working with the city for 3 or 4 months, and we would like to be more involved in these meetings with these guys, so we can explain things and address some of this stuff along the way, so we don't waste time, not only for the council, but for ourselves. And I know these guys are busy, believe me, I've chased Kirby all over town for 3 months, and he's busy, so I understand that. But, you know, going forward, if we could be involved somewhat more, you know, with the staff during these meetings, I think it would help a lot. So at this point, Doug, I guess what we need to do is maybe just table everything and come back. You guys have another meeting December 2nd, is that right?
Yeah, we'll have 2 meetings in December.
Not 2 of December?
Yep.
Okay.
So December 2nd and then whatever 14 days, 16
the second one.
as well.
Okay.
So,
The 2nd and
16.
the 16th? Okay.
yes, sir.
So before Christmas.
Okay.
Anything else, Doug, you think of?
Nope.
Yeah, I think that's all we have.
I see a few others that may be interested parties. Joe,
Yeah.
do you want to speak to that? Just any information you can give us.
Yeah, so, good evening, everyone. My name's Joe Pickey. I'm here representing SM Energy. I've worked shoulder to shoulder with a few of the members on the council in past dealings as far as environmental, regulatory, and surface land negotiations. I was asked by our corporate team and our development team to attend a meeting and put my name and number out there for any additional concerns, questions that you might have. That being a local face, somebody that you worked with in the past. And maybe as far as personal relationships, maybe that helps, maybe it doesn't. But also many of us have worked with Scott Duncan, and we have a pretty good relationship. When I say pretty good, I hope it's not too arrogant to say that we have a really good relationship within the community abroad, whether it's sports, high school, neighbors, farmers, French, all of us. So we just want to convey the message that Cougar Land is honest in their dealings. When they say risk, no risk, we back that up. However, anytime we're doing something, there's humans involved, there's opportunity for human error. If there's ever a situation if there's damages done, SM will stand in back correcting the damages. So for what it's worth, on behalf of SM Energy, that's the point we wanted to address, so.
Thank you.
I'm thinking,
Anyone else that's associated with this that would like to speak to it? We'll go ahead and allow that. Seeing none, council, do you have any other questions?
I'm just curious, we have a staff recommendation, and then if there was a counter, would that change staff's mind, do you think? You want to entertain that, or is the recommendation probably gonna say?
It would have to be substantially different, I think, based on the conversations that went on in the meeting. Felt like the bond was deficient and the offer compensation was nowhere near what the city felt like it would take for staff to be interested at all.
To your point, Cody, would it be, or Councilman Allen, I should say, would it be, I guess the question is, would it be advantageous to have the staff come together and maybe the folks from Cougar come together and just see if they could come to some type of something they felt good about, and if they couldn't, then, we can make a final decision at that point. If they could and staff did feel comfortable with some of the things that may be able to be changed, then we can address it in the December meetings. I'm just throwing that out there, but yes.
Mayor, Council, I apologize, I missed the meeting where staff met about this. I do want you to know I fully support staff in all the research they've done with this, but I would recommend, if council would, that we meet with Cougar Land, basically tell them all of our concerns, and then I would give them an opportunity to give their best offer to council, because ultimately staff is going to give you the recommendation, but council is going to make the decision. But I do like that idea for us to tell them, here's why we have all these concerns. This is how we feel, whether or not we agree or not, but they know what our recommendation is coming to you, and then they can see if they can rectify that to council.
May not hurt to have SN in that meeting as well. If we were to do that, just, I mean, if you're on the hook, you're gonna be around a lot longer than Cougar. I would
And that's
say.
the point, right, guys, that's the point, like, we're neighbors.
Yeah.
There's a lot of SM employees that work, go to school, so on and so
Yeah.
on. So, we, SM, just to put an exclamation mark behind it, the data that's underneath the city and adjacent to the city, we need it, it's valuable. And we would love to reconvey 2nd of December, whenever, to give us a better chance to address the concerns that anyone might have and alleviate that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I feel like that's a fair proposal. Yeah.
Mayor, one question that I have is, I'm guessing Roosevelt isn't the only city that you have proposed this kind of seismic work inside of a city limit.
For this project?
For anywhere,
Oh,
in,
there's been,
you have data,
oh, yeah.
any cities that would, and if there's ever been or never has been any damage, that would be helpful too.
Sure.
I think we're going from staff, we're looking at things that we're worried about could happen.
Okay.
If their concerns can be eased by, we've never had any issues with that.
We can provide references from engineers and other counties and other cities. Yes, we've been doing this for
I
25
think
years.
we're just being cautious, protective
Sure.
of our infrastructure.
Totally understand. We can come up with some references for you guys.
Yeah, and to Councilman White's point, 250,000, to be honest, when it comes to an asphalt road, doesn't go a whole long way. And that's kind of our concern. If one of those transite lines collapses, to dig that up and then have to replace that and all of those things, it is going to be a significant cost. Not to say it would happen, but where the potential's there, we'd like some assurances that
Sure.
the city will be protected and the taxpayers will be protected. That's all we're looking for.
Fair enough, Mayor. We'll address that.
And then ultimately, it's up to the council to decide tonight. I don't get a vote, but just want to make sure all the information's out there and everything's on the table so the council has the best information possible.
Mayor, do we even need to vote on this? If we're, or just say, because we're gonna let staff reevaluate with.
That would be the motion.
Okay, I would motion that we allow, that we have staff, Cougar Land SM meet and just see if they can come to some agreement or not and bring it back to us at a future council meeting to make a final decision, I guess.
We do have a motion on the floor.
I'll second, and we include me on that. You said that.
Okay, I was actually itching to ask that. Is it all right to have a councilman present?
Yeah, we can have up to 2 councilmen and myself present. So 3 of us, as long as it's not 3 council. So,
Once you set the meeting, just send out an invitation on email to see who can attend. It just depends on date and time, so I think that'll be easier than trying to pick some.
Okay. Any other discussion on this? We have a motion and a second. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You should have made a different motion. Okay, all right. So we'll do that, we'll reconvene, and then at least give you an opportunity to address those concerns that staff has.
Appreciate it.
Rezone Harmston Avenue. Now, Drew, you're up.
My turn.
Yeah.
Good evening, council and mayor. We have before you a rezone proposal that has passed through planning and zoning with a public hearing. This would be over by Harmston Avenue behind Sunrise Title Company. To the east would be Jubilee, kind of give you an idea of where that's at. So this is a unique area of town. It had multiple zones. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommend that we get an RM18 zone for this whole area, which the reason for this is the commercial property is integrated with some of the residential right there at the top of your map.
Is that Highway 40 running through the center of that, east and west?
No, that's Lagoon Street.
Oh, okay.
Can you go to the other attachment there?
There we go.
So the church house on Lagoon Street would be there,
Okay.
Stake Center, to give you an idea. So we did have some public concern. We mitigated that and relieved their concerns. We do have some R16 that would be integrated in this zone change, which they may have some animal rights. With the RM18 zone, they would not, but the grandfather clause would kick in with those in the R16 if they currently have animals. So that would be one thing we will have to deal with on this zone change.
When we did the animal, I know if they have a certain square footage of area within a certain zone,
Yes,
they
can.
okay,
Yes.
so that's what I was wondering. We kind of allowed some of those things to happen in a higher density zone if they had,
1 acre of ground by
Yeah.
conditional use permit.
yeah, things like that, okay.
So, any questions?
So it's going from what to what?
So if you go back to the last map.
There's several.
So there's several. The green would be R16, the commercial is red. RM13 would be the majority of the center of that.
So this is what it's going to.
This is what's
No, this is
proposed.
what
That's
it
coming,
is.
this is what it is, and it's going to
RM18.
already.
So everything surrounding this tract is already RM18, and that was the basis of their decision. Would be our highest density.
So we're not spot zoning here, it's next to.
It would be cleaning up some spot zone, is what this would be doing.
You know, if you look at bigger cities too, most of their high density housing is in the central part of the city where they have apartment buildings and multi-unit housing complexes and things like that, so.
You said planning and zoning approved this?
Yes.
You said there was a few concerns that were mitigated. Can you help us
Yes.
understand what those concerns were?
Basically, just confusion on what this would do, the impression of the taxes with the higher density housing. They just wanted some of those things answered, which it did not raise their taxes.
Yeah.
It won't raise their taxes. The high
So that the
density
commercial, it'll actually,
Yeah.
their taxes will
decrease.
decrease, yeah.
Correct. So those are the main concerns. After we had our public hearing and several phone calls, everybody was good with the zone change that came to the public hearing.
Do we not have to have a public hearing on this during council?
No, just in place. Well, in
For
our
a zone change,
in our ordinance, it's planning and zoning only. The land use authority is planning and zoning, but it has to be ratified by city council.
okay. I just want to make sure that, of course, any decision we make after statute of limitations, which is, I can't remember, holds anyway. Nobody can guess.
Our current ordinance, that is how it is.
I'm just thinking state ordinance. Can you look that up, Grant, real quick? And we can go ahead and approve this contingent on complying with state code. And then if it doesn't if we need to have a second public hearing, then we can.
Were any homeowners in that area concerned other than the tax?
Just with the multifamily use, we did have some concerns, but after talking through that, we mitigated those concerns. I think
Okay.
the thought was that Harmston's wanted to build multifamily, and that was not necessarily the case. They just want to be able to build something other than commercial.
Were the Harmstons there?
No.
Okay.
I would move we approve contingent on the
Public hearing?
public hearing, if a public hearing is needed or not.
Any other questions or discussions? We do have a motion.
I'll second.
Second by Councilman White. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, that's unanimous, and we'll find out.
Thank you.
We need to do any other steps there, so. Okay, the next one is the Craig Phillips property. Drew?
I'll stay here. So we
I'm
brought
glad
this.
you guys consult like into who's presenting this.
And help me my exercise today. This would be the parcel we brought before you last council meeting for consideration. We do have a contract for signature tonight. The contract would be for $5,000 for the parcel of property. This would be over by the, we'll see if I can spit this out, the Ballard Maverick and the glass shop. And we'll pull that up on the screen here so you can see where that's at.
Had trouble there, Ryan.
Mike got you sick yet? 'Cause I am.
I'm just glad that you're the one that's trying
Yeah,
to.
I'm just glad you're doing it.
I touched it, it wasn't mine. I apologize, there you go. Okay, we're getting there.
Right there. That little section.
Right here.
Yep, that's it.
Little, that thing's huge.
Yeah. 0.04.
0.04.
Actually, it's the one north of that. Not that little tiny one.
I thought it was the one north,
That
Yeah,
one.
right there.
that one. Yeah, Roosevelt City.
Yeah, that's the one, sorry. I thought it was a little bigger, it's a 1/10 of an acre.
Yeah, that's-
So we bring that to you for consideration tonight to approve the sale of this to Craig Phillips for $5,000.
And we did discuss this, I think.
I move that we accept the offer and approve the sale.
Is that a motion? Okay,
I'll second.
second by Councilman Rosenbarg. And motion by Councilman White. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So this was a piece of property that we talked about in a previous meeting. That's why we're making such a quick decision on it, but. So yeah.
Okay.
Approved.
I'll get with you to sign documents later.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It wasn't a parcel we could do much with where it was located.
And we are getting fair market value for
Edwin.
it, so.
Yeah, we are getting fair market value. We should make sure and point that out.
Leaf vacuum purchase request. Is this for the golf course
That it is.
and the park?
Good evening, council. Happy to be here tonight. So we are looking for approval to replace a 35-year-old piece of equipment that our greens crew have been doing meticulous work to try to keep running for 35 years. At this point, this leaf vacuum it's gonna cost more to maintain it than it would be to just outright buy a newer unit at this point. This unit in question is the Smithco Sweepstar V62C demo. Has a few numbers there, but it's the one for $36,500. There is funding in the golf course's COGS Pro Shop account. We're bringing it up this way because this broke out just recently, and we're needing this equipment ASAP. With winterizing and things coming on, Mike is working hard to try to get that ready before things freeze over, so. The nice thing with this new unit too is it's not PTO driven. That being said, it can be pulled behind a gator, it can pull behind a truck. It's not reliant on the tractor going forward too. It will then give other opportunities and not rely on equipment that might break down the road too, so. Any questions on said piece of equipment.
So you're looking for the Star V62, is that the one you want?
Yes, that is recommendation, is the one for 36,500.
So how long will it take if we approve it tonight? How long does it take to get here?
It would be within a few days, if I'm correct at most, right?
Of this particular unit, my,
Mike, go ahead and come.
Yeah, come on.
Come on.
Yeah, Mike?
this particular unit is actually in Tucson, Arizona now, just waiting on approval with, Stoltz equipment. It is under, this unit is about $42,000 new. This unit has 6 hours on it. It is a demo. And so we're getting it at the $36,000 price versus a new one, which is in the 40s.
Did you quote out around and get a few different quotes?
If you notice on the same invoice that he did look around to see a few other options to see, and this is his recommendation.
Yeah, 41,000, 47,000, right?
Perfect.
Can you guarantee this in the last 35 years?
He won't be around to report back.
Yeah, you can guarantee whatever you want, huh, Mike?
I won't be around. Great, any other questions?
Is this something we have to, like, is there a state bid thing, like, that we would have to?
No, where they've gotten 3 bids, we follow our procurement policies on
Right.
this, and so,
No, I understand that, I just wondered if there was a state
contract?
contract, that's what I was trying to think of, with anybody with this. I don't know, I'm just curious.
He's actually selling us this one as a used equipment. It's new, but it's used because it does have 4 to 6 hours on it. So the state contract price of a new one is almost $42,000. So
That's all I was curious about.
That's why we're getting it for $36,500.
Okay.
And is there a transportation fee on it too, or
Nope.
is that
That's
just gets it
And,
here?
in fact, my sales rep said he would eat the cost to get it hot shotted here just as quick as we get approval. So,
Okay.
It sounds like we should approve, so I move to approve based on the recommendation. You have money in your budget, you said, so I move to approve.
Okay, motion to approve, second. By anyone?
I'll second
Second by Councilman Baird, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You got you a new unit. Ryan, actually, we have Troy here with us tonight as well. State Street pedestrian crossing.
Mayor, council, thanks for listening to us here this. What we're requesting here is that we get concurrence in the low bid on this project. It finally advertised and went out and got bid. We had 7 bidders on the project, which was quite remarkable, I'm going to say. Of those 7, 5 were actually under the engineer's estimate. And the low bidder was considerably under. They were about 68% of the estimate, which saved about $100,000 on the project with what we have. And so what we're asking for tonight is the council's concurrence in recommending to UDOT that the bid be awarded to the low bidder in the amount of $596,291.25.
We don't know who the bidder is though until after we accept.
We don't know. That's part of the, I'm gonna say, part of the rules we live under with these federal dollars and with UDOT. All we can tell you for sure is that the low bidder is certified with UDOT. They meet all the requirements, all the bonding, everything else as far as being certified in UDOT's bid system and that, but they don't tell us who it is until after it has been awarded on local government projects. And the reason they do that, and I'm just gonna be upfront and honest with you, is, you have to, with these dollars, award to the lowest responsible bidder. You don't get the opportunity to say, well, the second bidder is within 2%, he's a local guy, we want to award it to this one. They take that ability away from you by not allowing you to know who they are until after it has been awarded. If you do make this motion tonight and get this information to Larry Montoya, we'll know by Friday who the bidder is.
And when do they projected to start once we approve?
This is my projection on that, is I'm projecting that we will see them start sometime in December or January to start work on the pipe in the channel up there, and to do that, it could be as late as February.
Okay,
But they have to have all of the work done in that channel prior to the 15th of April. And so about the latest they could start would be the 1st of March. And then from that point, this low contractor bid to complete this project in 41 days.
okay.
So,
I got a question. So, what's the likelihood with this system of us ending up paying more money? Is this fixed price or is it something?
no, what this is this is based upon the unit cost. We could end up paying more if we overrun some items or made some changes. You know, I'm gonna say this, I'm going to anticipate that as we get doing this, we may want to add a little bit of asphalt to this to tie these new trails completely tied together with this project. That we would have the ability to use the extra money that wasn't used in this bid to go towards that. But that's the only way that it would be additional to the city. And I'm gonna say here, at this point, the city would be getting money back. Anything we don't spend, you wouldn't be matching. And so, you have already committed to match up to the 897,000. So unless it overran 50%, it wouldn't be any more money to the city.
And that's what I was gonna ask, if we had built-in contingencies.
Yes, we have built into, with this bid, we have built in a little over $100,000 in contingency. Plus now what we underrun in the bid, so there is a, I'm gonna say a large contingency left in this project as it stands right now.
Great. Any other questions?
I move we approve the low bidder on this project.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. This is for the State Street where the
Nature park.
nature park goes across.
It's the hill going
We were
down.
working on Rowdy when you were on the council.
And so with that, Ryan, will you prepare the letter for Larry and?
I just sent it.
Good job.
I was getting almost sent until.
Motion was made.
So as soon as we know who the bidders are, what they'll do is they'll resend us this bid tabulation with all the names.
Okay,
And so we'll be able to share that with Brian and the council here just as soon as we get that from you guys.
sounds good.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
The moment we've all been waiting for. And I put my foot in my mouth. I shouldn't have said councilman-elect until we have the canvas done, but Zeke, turn it on to you.
Got a presentation here. So yeah, we had an election, went pretty successful as far as the operations go. To finalize the election, the city council acts as the board of canvassers, and so the board of canvassers finalizes both results. So we'll just look at our presentation on what we did. Okay, so this is kind of how we had set up on election day. I'm not very good at taking pictures and documenting things, I think we're a little better at that, but we did have a sign out on the street letting everyone know we had an election and where they could vote. We had this room kind of decorated with American flags on the stand, and then these in-person voting booths set up just to try to make it feel inviting and patriotic to those that did come in and vote in person. We had ballot drop boxes out on the street, and then we had official drop boxes here in the office. Okay, so once you fill your ballot out, this is just a little bit of the ballot process and what we do to get those ballots counted. You get your ballot, you fill it out, put it in the envelope. When it comes into our office, each ballot has this barcode on it that we scan. Once we scan that, it brings up your voter profile in the database. This is called that the Lieutenant Governor's office maintains on the voter records. When that pulls up, it pulls up your profile. Your profile has okay, there we go. Once your profile pulls up, it pulls in any signature that you've signed with the state, and then we have to compare that to the signature on your ballot. So we go through each and every ballot to verify that the person voting is actually the person that sent in that ballot. The new thing this year that was put into place is you can put the last 4 digits of your driver's license or social security number. If you have that in there and it matches in the system, we can just count that. If you don't, we have to go to signature. And then if neither of those match, we have what we call, you have to be cured. So we pull the ballot out, we can't count it until it does get cured, which means the voter has to come in and verify that that was their ballot and they signed it. And then once they sign that, then we can count that. So we did have a few of those in here, which we'll go over in just a second. And once the ballot is verified, it's your ballot and it's a valid voter, it goes to processing where this part we try to keep voter secrecy as best we can. So we have one person opening the envelope and then they would pass the unfolded ballot to the person next to them and they open it and then it goes to counting. We tally the ballots. This is just the process we use to count them. One person would read the ballot and the other person would mark on here who the vote was for. And we sit here in the conference room, we had it on the TV so everyone in the room could see it just to make sure everything was being done correctly. A little bit of the ballot data. We had 2,000, just under 3,000 registered voters. We had 1,111 total ballots cast by the time we got finished, which left us with 38.02% turnout, which 40% is kind of the standard. Anything above 40 is great. So 38% on a non-presidential year is really good turnout.
For Roosevelt, that's really good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing, it was great turnout.
We can do better.
Yeah,
That's for sure, historically.
yeah, we were excited to see that number. Provisional ballots, we had 8. Provisional ballot is if anyone comes in to vote and they're not on the voter register. We don't want to turn anyone away from voting that may be able to, and so we just have them vote. And we keep them separate from the regular votes. They have to fill out basically a new registration form, and then we verify that after. So we let them vote. They do have to provide proof of residency when they do that as well, and then we verify those later. We had 4 provisional ballots that we were able to count. They were registered, or they were living within city boundaries and met the requirements to get registered. So we were able to count those 4, and we had 4 that did not reside within city boundaries, and that was verified by the county. We had them put that in the system, and it tells them whether or not they're valid voters or not, and so we were not able to count those 4. We had 16 that needed to be cured. That's the ones I was talking about where their signature didn't match the file. So we had 16 of those, and then we had 3 that did cure those ballots, that did come in and sign affidavits tracking that. So we were
Does that mean the 13 others didn't get counted?
Yeah, those 13 didn't. We sent them letters notifying them as soon as we knew that their ballot needed to be cured, and let them know they could either email or come in. And by noon today was the deadline to do that, so we only got 3 that did come back in.
Okay.
We had 1 ballot that was returned without identification. There's a slip on the ballot envelope that has your barcode on it, and that was ripped off. So when it got here, we didn't know whose ballot it was, so we couldn't verify that they were on the voter rolls. So we couldn't count that one. We did have 1 discrepancy in reconciling. We were able to narrow it down that we had 19 voters come in person to vote here on election day, and we had 20 ballots in the drop box.
So typically that would mean one or two things, either someone came in and voted and we didn't get them to sign the poll book. We registered them at check-in, but they didn't sign the poll book, or we had a voter just bring in their ballot and just drop it in without registering it at the front. So we do have to document that in all of our reports. That was the one discrepancy we had in all of our reconciling. We had 20 ballots come in after the deadline. So last year we were able to accept postmarked ballots on the day of election, but this year we could not. So we had 20 of those come in the day after election, and it trickled in a little bit a few days after that as well. So we had 20 that we couldn't count because of that. And then on the side there is just the voting by precinct. We have to document that in our report on how many you had per precinct.
What happened to numbers, precinct with the 60?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, this is just our voting method turnout. The way we collected ballots, we had 59% of our ballots come through the drive-through drop box, 32% came through the mail, 7% were brought in the office and dropped in the box, and then 2% in person, and then I think we only had 3 come in early voting that week that we did it. So the voters are voting. Okay, so election results. So in the race for mayor for your term, we had Don Busenbark received 464 votes, or 42.34%. Tommy Kent Elton received 632 votes, or 57.66%. Then we had 15 undervotes, which an undervote is just a ballot that's turned in that they chose not to vote for that race. Maybe they voted for the other ones, but they didn't vote for that one. This results in Tommy Kent Olson being elected to fill the position of mayor. In the race for city council for your term, vote for 2. We had Rowdy David Clower received 462 votes, 28.69%. What did I say? 563. Preston David Cadillac received 450 votes, 22.94%. Logan Hancock received 550 votes, 28.03%. And Brandon Guy Hollenbeck received 399 votes, or 20.34%. And then we had 260 undervotes on this one.
Seems like a lot of undervotes.
Yeah, and there are a few of those. So this is vote for 2. So if someone didn't vote at all, that counts as 2 undervotes because they had 2 votes. We actually only had, I think, 13 of those. So the majority of it was just undervoting altogether. So this results in Rowdy, Dave Cloward, and Bodie Hancock being elected to fill 2 open seats on the city council. And then in the ZAP tax, Proposition 16, for the ZAP tax received 763 votes, or 69.68%. Against the ZAP tax received 333 votes, or 30.32%. We had 16 undervotes on that one, which results in 4 the ZAP tax being voted in favor of. The election audit, so we are required to go through an election audit with the state. So the way that works is we just advertise when our audit is going to be, and then 15 minutes before the audit begins, the state sends us which batches they want us to audit. So they sent us batch R9 and R36, which each had 25 ballots in them. We can't have anyone that participated in the original count be an auditor for that, so we had to get 2 others to do that. So I basically just gave them those 2 batches and they counted them, and then just made sure their results matched what we had on the election night, and we didn't have any discrepancies when we did that audit. 3 more. And then just a thanks to all those that participated in the election. We appreciate all the candidates that ran. It's great in our community to have choices, and so we appreciate everyone that is involved in that. And then just thanks to the staff, thanks to Sierra for helping me. She was a rock star, helping keeping me organized with the deadlines and all the candidate documents they need to get done. And then our poll workers, we had Terry Rower helped us out a ton. Marianne Stout helped a ton, and then we even had Mayor Bird in there helping us count there at the end. So
I was the one marking the ballots as they came through. That was my job.
So Tommy owes you some money? No, I'm just kidding.
I have to say, I've watched this 3 times now since I've been an elected official, and I think this was probably it was the best organized and ran. I mean, it was organized before, but just the extra touches and everything else that the staff went through to make it convenient and a good experience for the public. I just want to thank you, Zeke, for that. I know you were kind of at the head of that, and Sierra, you guys did an awesome job, and really appreciate how you did. And nobody likes election night except for the people that are voting and waiting for results, right? The people that are running it. It's a long night, so thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Any
No, I was just gonna echo what you said, Mayor. I think they did an outstanding job and it was good. There was a lot of candidates and, you know, that's the process, so. And being an off year, I was impressed with how many voted. I think that's great. We can do better, but I agree, it was still great.
I have to say, I think we had a pool of excellent candidates too, including you, Tom.
Oh, I was gonna say, maybe not me, but the others I thought were good candidates.
No, I don't think, I mean, it was a great pool of people and excited for the people that won and yeah, it was a good election. Thank you.
Yeah.
And any other thoughts?
Next year will
Yeah, so
be,
we need a motion to actually accept and approve the canvassing of the elections.
I would move we approve and accept the canvassing of the election for the 2025 election year.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second that.
And a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Next year will be a county and not a off year, so you guys won't have to do it, right? Because the county takes care of it when it's.
We do need signatures on the report, so maybe Dawn, if you'll just take yours on the last page for signature, and we'll just pass it down, and then we'll get, I think everyone will sign it.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, department update. Grant, did you have something? Yes, please.
Yeah, if we could go back to the harness annexation real quick. I've had time to verify in state code and our ordinances. In Title 10, Chapter 20, Part 5, Section 503, it lays out the requirements for a zoning change by this board. All that you have to do is make sure that you've got a recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission, and then it says, and comply with the provisions of 102502. If we go to that one, it's primarily the requirements for the Planning Commission, which includes them holding a public hearing and making a recommendation to the legislative body here. You have to consider the recommendation from the Planning Commission. If they don't make a recommendation within a reasonable amount of time, then you can act without it. But there is no, and then in our ordinances, it uses very similar language to what state code uses, saying the Planning Commission has to hold a public hearing. There's nothing in our ordinances that require one here either. That being said, both state code and our ordinances are setting a minimum standard for you guys. You can set a public hearing even though it's not required by statutes anywhere. But I'm comfortable with the process that we've gone through, and if you choose to go forward with the motion that you already made, I think that it's in line with statutes.
I'm comfortable.
I'm comfortable. The motion was to approve with your review or whatever.
Is there a time where there has to be two?
Not for a zoning change.
Not for a zoning change.
Yeah, there are a lot of things where you do have to have a public hearing here before you make a decision, including changes to the ordinances generally. As we were looking at it, we realized that in our ordinances, they're now outdated because the legislature did some numbering changes in state code, which went into effect on November 6th of this year, so just barely. So as soon as they did the renumbering, we had cited the old statute, which has the exact same language, just a new citation. And we've already made arrangements where we realized here tonight for Drew to include that in some housekeeping ordinance changes, where it'll need to go to planning and zoning for recommendation there, but then when it comes here, that will have to have a public hearing on the subject.
Perfect.
Grant,
Well, that's great. Thank
is there a way to address that? That if the number changes, we can update it without having to do all that?
what we're proposing, and this is what we talked about just a minute ago, is right now it cites the old number and then it says that we will comply with the Utah State Code number as amended. We're just going to take out the number, so it'll just say that we have to comply with Utah State Code as amended. And then when the legislature makes these little numbering changes that are not substantive changes to the language, that it doesn't put our ordinances out of date.
Perfect. Excellent.
And so in the recommendation that comes back to you guys, whenever that is, within the next couple months probably, that's what the proposal will be, is just to take the number out altogether.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
we had the same problem on the school board with policy. We always having to change it. I keep saying, can't we just change it to follow Utah code or whatever and leave it?
Thanks.
Okay, department update.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This month we're having administrative services, new department update, so I'm gonna do mine with the city manager report. Just a couple of things for council to be aware of. If you haven't heard, we did lose our recreation director to that city down south. So we don't like that
Shall not be
city
named.
or that person, exactly. But I am very happy to announce that we have promoted one of our internal employees, Edwin Butterfield. I'm sure you've heard, is our new recreation director. He has done a phenomenal job serving as the assistant department head, and now he's taken those reins, and he is very efficient. And anybody that's fiscally conservative, which again, I think is everybody here, can be very grateful for everything Edwin does, because he is very great at that, watching budgets, managing employees. So congratulations to Edwin. I'm very happy to report that he has accepted that position. Next announcement, December 10th, please make sure you should have received a calendar invite for our winter celebration. If you have not RSVP'd, you will probably get hounded through phone calls, emails, texts, toilet papering on your house, whatever is necessary, to Sierra for our winter celebration. She has headed a committee up to do that, so it should be a wonderful celebration there. Next, on December 1st, we have a Christmas tree lighting event hosted by the mayor and the Chamber of Commerce. They've asked for the city to help out in this Christmas tree lighting at Old Mill Park. So please plan on attending if you're available. We are trying to make this event grow, get more interest. Daniel Mockley's helping with the lights. I should point out, our Parks Director, Dustin, has been phenomenal in helping with this. I did not realize how much he actually has done in the past to help this project. He's just always been there without needing to be asked, so hats off to him. But we are officially taking on some more responsibility to help the chamber to make this event grow. So it should be a wonderful event, a lot more lights and a lot more.
What time on the 1st again?
It's at,
I teach that night. I saw it, I just can't remember.
I believe the festivities start at 4:30 and the lights flip on at 5:30.
yeah.
Yes. And there will be hot cocoa, donuts, candy canes, Santa, caricatures from different things, like the Grinch is gonna make an appearance.
The mayor of Whoville may be there.
Yes, the mayor of Whoville will be there, guaranteed.
I apologize, I have a weird job. I have work at that time, so.
I do believe you're the professor, you can cancel a class, right?
Not that night, because it's the last week. That's actually my last night of class for the one class, so.
What a great reward for the class. No, just kidding, Councilman. So
I'm sure they would
please
love to cancel class. I'll see what I can do.
Thank you. And then final note, on December 13th, we have Shop with a Cop. This is an incredible event that we have at our city. Our police department, law enforcement, they're just phenomenal. We are taking donations for that. This year, we're starting off a little bit lower than normal, so please spread the word. We want to make sure this event continues for those that are in need. And our officers, there's nothing better than seeing what they're able to do, building that relationship with these young children. So please make note of that, solicit donations from anybody in the community. Last year was phenomenal. I believe last year was the biggest ever, correct, Chief? And we're gonna outdo that this year. Chief has guaranteed it. Maybe, he's gonna smile because I just put that as a word in his mouth.
Volunteer salary for the month.
Done.
And donations come to the city or the police
Yes, you
department?
can take him to the police department.
No,
If it's a
take
check
him
or
to, no,
cash, it comes up front here.
It would rather be if it come up front, make it a lot easier.
Yes.
I believe too.
Okay, just bring them all to the city offices. Great question. Any questions with Shop with the Cop?
Thanks for that, that's a great service.
How much are you looking to get?
The goal this year is 5,000 to 7,000. Well, the true goal is 9,000 because that's what we thought we had. That's what we budgeted for, assuming we bring that in. But 5 to 7 is typically what we like to do. But it goes straight to those children that are in need. So
Is this just monetary donations or do people bring presents?
Monetary.
And this is not to be confused with Toys for Tots. That's another program.
or Sub for Santa.
Or Sub for Santa. Sorry, Sub for Santa. Thank you. Okay. Other than that, I know it was already spoken of, but I want to give hats off to our recorder, deputy recorder for what they've done with the election. Fantastic work. This was the first time that both of them have done that. As Mayor said, they did a phenomenal job. So hats off to them. They've learned it all on their own. They did it. They're phenomenal. So hats off to them. Are there any questions for me?
Just glad that you're feeling better.
Yeah.
Glad that you're vertical and.
I am so grateful for
horizontal.
standing here today, so yes, thank you. And we will, with that one individual who left us, we will be having a luncheon for him when he returns at some point. So I will send that out, so you'll get an invite. He just left right when I went down, so we didn't get that time. Thank you, Mayor. Okay, thank you.
All right, we saw the expenditure report go down. Any questions on that?
Well, tractors was spelled wrong on the front page. Another typo, it says traders, hobby traders. Did you need to go over this with us at all, Z?
Just if you have any questions, I can.
I was just curious about the general revenue is quite a bit less than the expense.
Yeah, a lot of that's timing. Property tax usually comes in heavy in the first of the year.
Okay.
So a lot of it's just timing.
We're just waiting for stuff to come in.
Fairly young in the.
So you're not concerned?
Not at this point. We're still pretty young in the year, so.
Okay. It looked like all the expenses were things that we've approved in the past for different projects, so I would move we approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, committee reports. Do you have anything for us, Councilman Roosevelt?
No, I don't.
Councilman White?
Nothing to report.
Baird?
No.
Goodrich? Allen? No. Okay. The only thing is, I know Ryan's working on the gun range, trying to get some bids to us before the end of the year. So that's a project that's still in the works, that's be coming up, and so.
Do we need to go to closed session for it?
No.
Okay.
No.
Or you want an update on it?
No, we can give an update
Okay.
next week, but that's one of those things, and
Yeah, our goal is December 16th to award hopefully a bidder on the earthworks. So.
Awesome. I know Councilman Allen has to go, so I brought that up and I thought, oh crap, I shouldn't have brought that up.
Yeah.
Sorry, Councilman Allen.
Mayor, I see nothing else. I would move we adjourn.
I will entertain that motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilman Goodrich. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.